not a game, it's a rich thing.
Alright, so the name of the game here is how long will my iPhone record without overheating or running out of battery. So we'll see how that goes, but this was supposed to be just a quick sketch. A little bit of background on the idea of this is I was just hanging out at my uncle's place, and he's a school teacher, and I was thinking, I don't know, actually I was just a little bored. They were playing a board game and I was just watching it, which was interesting enough, but I mean I just like to doodle when my mind's not like doing anything. So I started doodling some boxes, and I noticed him watching a little bit in between turns. So I don't know, I was just doing my thing, and then eventually he mentioned something. He said you should make a YouTube tutorial, like a video on how to do these things. These little doodles, because I was doing I don't know, there's a bunch of them. I don't know, maybe like 10 or 12 in the span of like 15 minutes, and I think he was thinking it'd be kind of interesting to get kind of like a simple rundown of how a beginner might start with that, like one of his students, for example. So here I am doing a couple of sketches, and I do want to say that these this is all kind of based on visual reference. I don't like it's hard for me to say exactly what certain proportions should be. Like for example, some people kind of favor like 3 to 4 wheels in between the front and the rear wheel. I mean, depending on what kind of car it is, right? Like a sedan, SUV, a van, coupe, hatchback, all that good stuff. So basically, I ended up with back to my uncle's place. I ended up with a few. Again, like 10 or 12 different sketches. I kind of look like this guy here. So this one's for you. Shout out Uncle Paul. Back to the... so we call these like proportions, basically like relationships, spatial relationships between different elements of the car. So, say the size of... Oh, fuck. Damn it. Oh, that just reminds me the LCBO closes in an hour and a half. Fuck. That sucks. Okay. Whatever. Marlon's got my back. Maybe I should go now. Anyways, more reason to keep this short. So spatial relationships between elements of the cars. Different elements of the car, right? So say like size of the headlight. Relative to the size of the wheel arch and the distance between the two, right? These are like sciences that professional designers have come up with, right? Or kind of like developed over time. Me, I am not a professional car designer. I did go to school for this stuff, but most of this stuff is just kind of like lax approximations. So you'll get like, things like this that don't look like exactly what a real car might look like proportion wise, and it doesn't look like what a what do you call it? Professional car designers would sketch out in the studio. So it's just kind of like, here's a rough representation of a vehicle from a amateur vehicle designer, or I guess you would call non-professional and amateur. I'm a professional designer, just not in the vehicle design field. Not yet, anyways. Maybe later in life. I think I need to get better at this first. Anyways, point is, I just want to kind of sketch out some quick things, and hopefully, again, don't take this as a science. Oh God, how do I silence these? Don't take this as a science. But it's a place to start. So let's start with sedans. I'm kind of working on sedans. Proportions are weird. I find them hard. But typically, like, you would start with like a long rectangle, say. You might have a wheel here and a wheel here. The A pillar, this is the A pillar, this guy here. That, I think, typically ends before, if you draw a straight line down from where the A pillar begins, down to the rocker panel, this thing here, you would see that it ends a little bit before the rear of the front wheel arch. So, say if this is our wheel here, this is our wheel here, you might, so this is where the front wheel arch ends. You might start the A pillar back here. So this is where we can kind of start our second box here. And then this is where things kind of fuck me up a little. 2, 3, yeah, so I think this guy is a little too close, so we'll move this back. Move this back, and then the B, C. So the B pillar is typically here, so the C pillar will typically start like either in line with the front of the rear wheel arch, or kind of like somewhere in this area. So we can just say end the C pillar like here. So we'll draw, say, the windshield, here's the roof, and then the C pillar should come down and end above here. That doesn't mean that's where the roof line follows. This point here is just kind of like this guy here, like this little corner. So we might bring this down and connect it with the front of the A pillar. So again, A pillar, B pillar, C pillar, right? And now we have our side window, or as professionals call it, I think, greenhouse. So typically, I don't know if this is a new thing, but the hood would usually come up above where the A pillar begins. I'm really not sure if it's a new thing or not. You'll get some space in front of the front wheel here, and you'll want to have some space behind the rear wheel here. So, I don't know, let's call this the trunk. Just end it right there, and bring it back down. And then, so you have your rocker panel. Maybe we'll draw a shadow in there. So, and this is a really easy thing. This is an interesting thing for me. Actually, here, people tell you not to do this, but this is a good way for a reference if you just don't want to spend the time doing wheels or don't know how. So a really interesting thing that you can do is, I think this is called isometric perspective. So if you have your 2D design, right, all you have to do is draw, say, parallel. They should really be converging, but that's a little harder. So you can start with parallel diagonal lines here, right? I don't know what to call these, like intersection points, but if you do that, and then you kind of like draw another silhouette connecting those lines, all of a sudden you have a 3-dimensional sketch. Oh, fuck. I need to ask these guys pipe down. So anyways, so there you go. So that we've gone from a two-dimensional sketch to a three-dimensional sketch, just slightly. You might want to draw the. This is crazy. You know what? I think. One sec. I think I can do this. Can I mute this? Mute. Do not disturb. Okay, let's see if that works. All right, so let's do that again, but just with boxes, right? So we got a rectangle. Again, I don't know. I usually just guess where the wheels are. A safe bet is like, if you draw a circle, then you probably want like 3 to 4, say like 3.5 of the same size circle in between. So you might want to move this wheel back a bit, actually. So we have a rectangle, first rectangle, right? Remember the where the C pillar, sorry, the A pillar starts? Again, this is the A pillar, this is the A pillar. A pillar typically starts a little bit behind the back of the front wheel arch. So we'll just, make up some distance here. So we'll start our second box here. You can probably play it safe and do like the same height as this bottom one, but in reality it'll probably be a bit shorter. Right, and remember where the C pillar, so this C pillar, this C pillar, remember where that ends? Is somewhere in between, say the front half of this wheel arch, right? And a little bit above where the A pillar began. So this will typically be like a little bit up. So if we draw a line from here across, you'll have a little distance between, like a little incline kind of. So if this is where the A pillar starts, we're going to come across and we're going to start the C pillar a little bit up and there. So we can kind of like, I don't know. Actually, let's extend our box here. And then we can connect our C pillar, right? B pillar is where the doors kind of split. If it's a sedan, and the roof line, right, carry down a little bit further behind. And another interesting thing is that the hood, I don't know if this is actually correct, but I think, sorry, the trunk lid is typically a little higher than the hood line. So we can just connect that up here, draw the box down, bring it back. Again, this is the beginning of the A pillar, so we want to draw that windshield line in, right? And then we connect it. The hood, remember, connects a little bit above where the A pillar begins. So I'm going to draw that down and connect that with this. This is not quite. So the belt line is another thing that is kind of. Sorry, where am I going with that? So the belt line is not the bottom of the greenhouse, right? This is the greenhouse. Nobody's gonna be able to read that. The belt line is kind of like this character line that I'm not sure if it's like for structural purposes, but typically you'll have like a line here that just adds a little bit of character and adds some visual interest, like between the base of the greenhouse and the say top of the rocker panel, right? Otherwise it might just look like a straight slab, right? So this might be considered a belt line, or maybe if there's like one here, be considered a belt line. Holy, people are gonna make. Can I just mute this whole messaging thing? How do I do that? Messages, mute everything. Oh, I don't know how to do that. Okay, I'm just gonna mute Monica. Sorry, pal. Where was I? Yeah, so this is the base of the windshield. Or sorry, the greenhouse. You want to come up, connect it to the C pillar. You might have, say, your belt line, whatever that looks like. It could be a straight line. If you look at like Lexus, for example, they do like these wacky like diagonal ones. And then you want to end that off in the front. So right now we kind of have our like two boxes here. We got one, we got two, and if we draw those diagonal lines top of the windshield, back of the roof, back of the trunk, and the front bumpers. Then we can like draw the silhouette again of the car, and then all of a sudden we've gone from again 2D to 3D, and we'll just draw a little wheels in there and little shadows. Okay, so again, rough. Proportions are not great. Wheels are trash, and there's no details, but again, this might be a good place for people to start with. If they're looking to get into sketchy and really any kind of 3D projects or products, like same principles kind of apply to what do you call it? Like product design outside of vehicle design. You know, whether it's like, I don't know, let's say couch, right? So you go, actually, you know what? I'll get into that. This is for vehicle design. Maybe next time. So let's do it again, just with the boxes this time. I keep adding like weird little features. Okay, so say we start the first wheel here, and then okay, let's draw out what that might look like. Then you want to do 1, 2, 3 a bit. So we'll just put that guy here. This rectangle might need to come out a little bit more. And then remember, A-pillar starts a little bit behind the back of the front wheel. So we'll draw, let's just go straight into the windshield. We'll draw that box here, our C-pillar, somewhere in this area. We need to end it, and a little bit above where the A-pillar begins. So we'll just draw that there. And then from this point, why don't we just draw this rectangle back, right? And then remember the hood goes a bit up here, a little bit above where the A-pillar begins. And then, so we have that. Let's draw our wheels in here, quote unquote wheels. Some people hate when they see this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say learn how to draw wheels. Draw a little diagonal lines on the bumper, end of the hood, the start of the hood, top of the windshield, back of the roof, back of the trunk, and then draw a little silhouette up there, boom, boom, boom. Connect them all, and you got, oh, let's not forget the shadow. And you got yourself a car, people. Okay, wait, I forgot about this. So, greenhouse connected up there. Draw the belt line. This is really bad, but you get the idea of like the foundation of like how to get like the 3D 3D, what do you call it, form in there, just based off of a 2D sketch. This is kind of like a hack. Let's call it a hack. So we're doing 18 minutes and 30 seconds in. How much longer will my phone hold up for? Okay, what did we do? Let's just do it again. So remember, rectangle, a long one. Yeah, let's say keep on getting longer because I feel like I keep underestimating how long this should be. So if we do a wheel up here, right? Fuck it. Let's just draw that. Then we go 1, 2, 3, and a bit. So, and again, I underestimated how long this should be. Okay, where does the B pillar start? A little bit behind where the front wheel arch ends. So I'll draw that windshield. Then we'll draw the top of the greenhouse, which is the seat pillar, and somewhere in this area, the front half of the rear wheel arch, and a little bit above where the A pillar started. So we'll just draw a little point there, and we'll bring that down. So that's our greenhouse, right? This will be the base of our greenhouse, and then typically there's a little like hunch, like in the same area where the C pillar ends. You kind of want to connect from in front of the rear wheel arch to where the C-pillar ends, you want to draw a little, you'll notice like they typically go upwards, this line here, right? So we kind of have like our two basic boxes here. So we'll draw out the trunk. We'll do the little rocker panel. Draw the shadow. Remember the hood starts a little bit above where the A-pillar is. We'll connect those lines to where the greenhouse line, the base of the greenhouse, kind of follows through. And then we have the front of our car. So we got the wheels, we got the greenhouse, and now we can draw our little diagonal lines from the bumper, the base of the hood, say the back of the hood, top of the windshield, back of the roof, back of the trunk, and then draw a little silhouette. Collect all those lines, and we have ourselves a bit of a 3D, also the shadow, a bit of a 3D car. Okay. So what else? Oh, let's not forget our belt line here. Just pew. Okay, so nice little simple sketch video on a hack on how to do this stuff. Again, I'm not the greatest proportion-wise, but a nice little hack in order to go from 2D to 3D. There you go. I mean, maybe I'll start one from here actually. So you'll have your wheel here, you'll have your wheel here, right? The windshield might come like this instead of going straight up. And I want to connect that to the back. The rear wind shield, I guess. I don't know what that's called actually. The hood comes up a little bit. Excuse me. You're gonna wanna. Oh, sorry, I got a bird coming. Excuse me. But you do that. You bring up your C-pillar here. Boom, boom, boom. Draw your little wheel arches. Get the shadow in there. What do you know? Pretty cool sketch. So yeah. Anyways, fun little way to take your sketching up just a little bit. I promise these will get better as we continue these. Because again, key thing of why cars look so great on the road is the proportions, right? And again, those are things like this distance here, or the distance from the back of the front wheel arch to the front of the, I have a red pen here, front of the rear wheel arch. The distance here from the base of the greenhouse to the base of the rocker panel. Let's see here. Again, maybe even like the height of this greenhouse relative to the height of the side of the car here. All of these things, like even like where the belt line sits relative, like this distance relative to this distance is all key. Like it's like mathematics, and all of those things kind of combined in the right way, and you get like beautiful things like the new Land Rover. I'm gonna say this wrong. I can't remember the name. Well, any of the new Land Rovers, anyways. Or Porsche. I mean, they don't really. Or the Panamera is actually a good example of proportions changing and how that's affected like the look of the car. The silhouette is like nearly the same. Like if you were to put them side by side, I'm not sure if maybe like a less experienced person or like, I don't know, somebody who like doesn't care about cars as much could identify the differentiating characteristics, but the changes are just so subtle and the new updated design, it looks way better, bit more like cohesive in its design than the original. So proportions, those are key. Next time, maybe I'll bring out these markers and can show like a bit of shading, because I mean, like a line sketch without any kind of like weight differentiation in the sketches, sorry, the strokes is really like, feels kind of empty, right? So that's one thing, is like the weight of certain lines. Like, you might want to put more emphasis on the belt line, the rock panel, or maybe this like hood line, you know. Just little things give your sketch like a lot more character. And then colors, like a whole, or not even color, but just shading is a whole other thing. I really like these what are these called again? Chart pack markers. We used to be told to use what do you call those? Like color Prismacolor markers, I think. No, maybe that's wrong. But some other basic ass ones in school, but chart pack has always been my go-to. Nothing really compares once the colors dry. But anyways, I'll leave you guys with that. Hopefully that helps. Sorry for the messages, the interruptions, the swearing, and my kind of like heavy breathing. I think I'm getting sick. I'm always kind of breathing heavy, either you're sick or not. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll think of a better outro for next time, and I'll see you guys